Good afternoon, Figaholic friends. I'm going to do a little review comparison of what I think are all the same fig. I've got here in front of us a tree of black Madera, and I don't get into talking about a KK strain or UC Davis strain and so forth. There's really no such thing. It's just people getting creative, I think. My friend Keith, or KK, he doesn't use any KK on his figs. He doesn't lay claim to it being any different. He got it from John Verdict at Encanto Farms in San Diego. I've mentioned this before. John Verdict got it from a CRFG collection. UC Davis does not have any figs. USDA, that leases some property from UC Davis, has a collection of figs, and in that they do have black Madera, and they got it from CRFG. Some trees will grow healthier than others, but that is more based on the care that we give them. This is a black Madera that I grafted onto brown turkey because they're known for not growing very vigorously, but it's very productive for me in spite of being a vigorous tree. I've got lots of ripe fruit. This one is, we probably wouldn't pick any riper than this for market because it'd be too easily to damage, but it's got a nice drop of honey from the eye. Sort of wipe that out the way I bit it there. I was trying to bite it from the top to the bottom to get a cross-section view of it there, but very jammy, very sweet berry flavor fig. Lots of ripe fruit on here. We need to pick some. I have another friend coming that wants to come pick some figs. I'm not making an invitation to friends coming over to pick, but this is a friend that has helped me out some, so I want to let him have some fig. Here's a black Madera that's on its own roots. They don't always grow that way when they're on their roots. Some are more vigorous, but this is not a more vigorous specimen. Here I have Figo Preto. And Figo Preto was introduced by my friend Sue down in Southern California. She met an old Portuguese lady, an immigrant from Madeira, Portugal. And as most people in Portugal, at least in Madeira, well, most of Portugal, they don't know all the names of the figs that they grow, and they simply called it Figo Preto, which just means black fig. It's just a generic name for a black fig. And so some people claim that this fig was earlier than others or tastes different, and it's not. It's I've eaten hundreds of these, I think, so I don't see a difference. But sometimes black Madera is earlier than Figo Preto, and sometimes Figo Preto is earlier than black Madera, but it's just by chance. Again, very tasty fig. I have another one that does not grow as well. Both of these trees were started from cuttings from that original mother tree that Sue found. In fact, that old Portuguese lady, she has had the same last name as me. She's passed on, but not any relative of mine. I don't know if she might have come from the same town of Cañas, Madeira, or not. But I want to get a more vigorous tree, so I've got another Figo Preto here that's grafted onto brown turkey. So I want to try to get a larger Figo Preto here. I'll probably prune the one on the left back a little bit and get this one to be large like my black Madera. Really, I'd like to have all of them growing like that. Okay, let me pause for a bit and let's take a look at another version. Okay, here in front of me now I have Madeira Island Black. And when I originally acquired this from Keith, KK back, I think, in 2014 or 15. It was fairly new for him, and he had said at that time in that eBay auction that it was, you know, very similar or the same as Black Madeira, and if you had one, you don't need the other. And I think that this is also the same fig. It's called Madeira Island Black. Now, originally it was just called Black Fig Madeira. It had a long title in the eBay description, but it's been pretty well accepted now as Madeira Island Black. And not grown that well for us. I should take a cutting from this and graft it onto brown turkey to get it growing stronger. Not a real good example. This is drying a bit already. But again, the same leaf pattern is typical and same fruit shape. I picked a larger one before. So this is another name for the same fig. So here's another fig, and this came from my friend Pete Kandari back east, and the former Fig King from the Staten Island Fig Festival, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And this is called, I want to make sure I get it right here, yeah, Black Portuguese. And when I got this from Pete, I think about 4 years ago, he told me, oh, it's not the same as Black Madeira, but I think it is the same. It mostly has single lobe leaves. It's just not growing very well. What happens often with figs, once they get growing more vigorously, they can get fingers on the leaves, or they get lobes on the leaves. But when they're slower growing, it'll more often be a spade leaf or mulberry leaf. It's sometimes referred to. Or just a single lobe leaf. But this fruit isn't ripe yet, but it's still got the typical shape for a Black Madeira. Pretty large fruit for the size of that branch and the small leaf, but it's not ripe yet, so I'm not going to pick it to compare. No sense in wasting a good fig. But again, I think that this is the same fig. Pete was good friends with Chris DiPoli and had many visits with him before Chris closed the nursery, and later on he passed on. Martha Stewart has a video of her visit with Chris DiPoli. This fig isn't featured in that. There's some other figs that were, but again, I think that this is the same as the fig that we for many years called Black Madeira. Okay, several years ago, our friend Francisco from Algarve, Portugal, he was known on the Fig for Fun forum, the former forum, Fig for Fun, as Lampo on there, and very knowledgeable gentleman. And you know, he made a post on how Violeta was the official name for these figs that had these more generic names of Black Madeira and Figo Preto. And some people got cuttings of Violeta from him, and I got cuttings from a friend, second or third hand, I don't know. Anyway, I grafted these onto brown turkey because I wanted them to grow good. I just had one small cutting actually, and I wanted to get more than one chance. And so this also, similar leaf patterns. Some of them are getting fingers on them. It's growing well for us. Very productive fig. Same fruiting characteristics as Black Madeira, Figo Preto. Very sweet, moderate berry flavor, very jammy. Both of these are the same. They were grafted from the same cutting. This is overripe. Birds didn't get this yet. Some birds are damaging fruit on this end of the orchard. Not spoiled, but it is overripe. I think it would dry on the tree okay, because it's very sweet. Thought I was going to hear a crash there. We have very bad traffic in our area of our farm. One reason why we don't really allow farm visits there. It's just too dangerous here. The traffic is so bad on the highway in front of our farm. For the 25 plus years we've been here, it's gotten 10 times worse. Friday afternoons are notorious. Anyway, so here's another fruit. Very productive. There's a post here, so the birds like to sit on that, and bird droppings as a result. So this is Violeta. Very pretty leaves. Again, these are both grafted onto brown turkey. So again, I think black Madeira, Figo Preto, Madeira Island Black, black Portuguese, originating from Bela Claire, and are all Violeta. And I do price them differently when I sell them. The Violeta will sell for more just because they're smaller trees and more limited source. If someone had a choice between one and the other, they're going to buy up these cuttings more quickly than the other, so I do price them higher. I keep the names as I receive them, except for in the case of Madeira Island Black. Originally, there wasn't such a well-defined name for it. It was just Black Fig Madeira. So, this is my view of the matter, and I've eaten a lot of them. And I should say also, when I was in Algarve region of Portugal last year, touring farmers markets, I saw lots of figs being sold by some vendors, and one vendor had maybe 10 varieties. He didn't know the names of any of them, and one of them was very clearly Violeta to me. There was Barbera Branca there, Inchario Preto, I forget what else. I couldn't identify all of them, but they didn't know the names of them. So it's just pretty typical for small growers or hobbyists to not know the names of their figs. If they're just growing, a few figs, they're not into it for collecting or anything like that. They're just growing them, and so they don't know the name. So they can be called Figo Preto for black fig if they only have one black fig, for instance. So anyway, thanks for watching.